Hi, welcome to Dark Politics Tarot. My name is Nick, and I am going to be reading on the terrible assassination on Charlie Kirk yesterday. The tarot deck I picked up is one I've never used before. I got it a long time ago as a gift. I don't have the box, so I really can't tell you what deck it is, but I just wanted to use a different deck for this energy. What I really want to look into is what Donald Trump is doing about this. We'll look into Charlie Kirk, and then we're going to look into Donald Trump. It might go into two videos. There were so many other things I wanted to read on today, but that happened yesterday, and it's devastating, and I don't condone violence. So let's just get that out of the picture, but it doesn't mean that I agreed with anything Charlie Kirk said. And you don't have to like someone in order to not wish, them be assassinated or be harmed in any way. So I just want to put that out there. So let's just take a look at, let's look at the assassination itself, because the FBI is, now run by Kash Patel. We can't trust him and what he says. They immediately grabbed someone and said that we caught the suspect, and it turned out they had to let him go. Now, today they have a new suspect. But really, what Kash Patel and Dan Bongino did was Donald Trump, they got rid of all the experienced FBI agents that could actually solve this case probably in the first day. But I don't expect anything that comes out of their mouths to be the truth. I don't even expect that we are going to have the real killer. We might. I somehow doubt it. If we do get the real killer, I believe he'll be taken out as well, because this is going to be kind of conspiratory stuff that I'm looking into. And I'm not saying that Donald Trump did this. I want to see what the cards have to say. So first off, let's look at the assassination attempt. Was this person trained for this job? Show me about this person. Now the cards start jumping. Yes, this is the Ace of Wands. And the Five of Cups. Maybe I shouldn't have used this deck. That's very hard to read. Yes, the Five of Cups came out next. Five of Cups crossing him. So we're looking at the suspect. Oh no, sorry, that's the Six of Cups. I see another cup back there. I might have to start this over. Okay, here's the assassination. So the first card about this assassin was, he knew what he was doing. He was skilled. He was trained. He's being crossed by the Six of Cups. So Six of Cups is something in the past, something regarding children. And the Ten of Swords is the assassination, which is at the base of the reading. So that makes sense. So I'm sorry to take so much time on that, but let's get going. All right, so then we have the Six of Swords. So he escaped. I don't think he's in Utah. He escaped. What else can you tell me, Spirit, about? Tell me about this assassin. Okay, he has the Queen of Cups. So it's very secretive. That's at the overall arching energy of this reading. This is a very secretive thing. They're keeping a lid on it. I don't know that we're going to get the truth. Will we get the truth? If you could tell me, Spirit, will we get the truth on this as well? We have the King of Cups. So, King of Cups is usually about, you know, a strong king, but who has wisdom, great wisdom, and kindness and gentleness. So, I don't know how this relates to this. Now we have the Five of Pentacles. So there's a loss here, I believe, that this person had. There's a loss that they would agree to do this, or that they did this on their own. That is in the suspect's card for themselves. And then we have the Moon comes out. Yeah, that's the Moon, all right. So there's a sense of secrecy, of not being able to find him. He's hiding in the environment. And yeah, he could, you know, be an extremist. It doesn't mean he was a left extremist. He could have been a right extremist. Then we have the Princess of Pentacles. So there's a message. There will be a message put out about this person that they want the world to see, that they want this message for the world to see. What's the message here? The King of Wands. King of Wands always comes up for me as dumpy. Okay, so let's go down to the table and get more clarification. Okay, so it looks like this person getting the Ace of Wands as the, you know, this being the perpetrator. He has a lot of strength and power. I'm just looking at the background. There's a castle back there. So he actually is a person with very strong ideologies, belief systems, and I believe he definitely belongs to a certain group. Now what's crossing him is this Six of Cups, which is like pleasure, the past, family. There's a child in this card, so it's like something wanting to go back to the past. That's crossing his situation. So that could be part of his ideology, is he doesn't like what something could have terribly happened to this person, that maybe he's lost, maybe he's divorced, maybe he lost his family. Maybe he just doesn't like what's going on. He wants things to be as they used to be. So I feel like that's in his mindset. Now, the base of the reading is, of course, the assassination, which was, to me, a very professional person, someone who's been trained in this. They're coming out today in the news and saying, like, well, anybody who, you know, uses this type of rifle, you know, doesn't necessarily mean it's a professional. And I find that to be a lie. Just my intuition, I find that to be a lie. I feel this was a military person. It could be a military from another country, you know, assassin sent by another country, or our own government, someone who didn't like what Charlie Kirk was moving into, and he's fled the area. So I don't think they're gonna, I mean, this is over water, so I believe he went someplace overseas or near the water. So if he flew to another state, he could have flown to California where there's a coast, you know, something like that. Now above the overarching energy is the Queen of Cups energy, which again it goes with this King of Cups here. Like there's this the King and Queen of Cups are like the loving king and queen, the wisdom keepers, the people with knowledge, the people that keep their emotions cool. They're very emotional cards because they represent the cups, which is emotions. But these two characters can keep their emotions in check. So he's able to keep his calm and cool in what he's done. He's able to keep it together. What do I get from this? I believe he was working, this is talking about him working for a higher person and power. He wasn't just doing this on his own, but he did have the ideology of things aren't right with this country, and I'm going to protect and serve, for families, for the good of the country, something like that. So it might not be a foreign country that this one is coming, this person is defending by, assassinating a podcaster of all, for God's sakes, a podcaster, really? But what this turns into is, this is him. This person was a lost soul. He felt like he didn't fit in. He wasn't being respected. His voice wasn't being heard. He was left out in the cold on something. And the environment around him, I do believe he must have had some mental issues, because the lunacy card came up. The moon is lunacy. It's also a Piscean card. So it could be someone very slippery as well, being able to hide their true feelings, on the outside wearing masks and putting on a good look, but inside they're very, they could be very angry and aggressive, but on the outside they might put on a different face. The hopes and fears right now for him is the Queen, the Princess of Pentacles. So he did this as a message that, he wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk. Why though? This is, a young person, a message. It could be about the Epstein files. Charlie Kirk was going against Trump about the Epstein files. Trump told him to knock it off, and then Charlie did for a little bit, and then he started looking into it again. So maybe this person could have been hired because he was for Trump. He was in that cult. He did feel like, left out in the cold, like he really stuck to this cult because that's the only thing that gave this person a sense of belonging. And now you're talking about, my leader, and I don't like that. I do think this is, also because it's a pentacle. It's kind of like a Republican, putting out a Republican message. Now the outcome here is the message for who? For, I don't, in some decks I don't see this as Donald Trump, but in this instance, in a lot of the decks I use, he comes up a lot when I'm talking about Trump, so I do see it as Trump. This is the charismatic king, and we all know that we don't like Trump, but we have to admit he has a charisma he knows how to manipulate, and he knows what to do to get, crowds to follow him. So he has a bad charisma, let's just say that. He has a negative energy, but it's still charismatic, like a lot of cult leaders are. This is still very, moon-like, where the reading's not giving away a lot of information. So let's just look at him, the suspect. Let's look at the first card. the suspect as a person. What was his ideologies? King of Cups again. That's interesting. Maybe he is a King of Cups himself. He could be a water sign. He could have been a father and something happened. What is this? Who is this guy? Oops. 2 cards. He also gets the King of Pentacles. That's how I would more see Donald Trump as a King of Pentacles rather than, you know, the King of Wands. But he, you know, he can come out as both. So these are higher ups that this person is looking at and doing their business and wanting justice for them. So one of these could be him. He could be a King of Cups, but I kind of feel now that I'm looking at this, I'm getting more of a sense that he's looking up to a few people. There's 2 kings here and justice. So it's like a group of people asking him to do something. I also do want to look at the King of Wands. So is he doing this for Donald Trump? Was this assassin done on Charlie Kirk for Donald Trump? Not that Donald Trump hired him to do it, but was he doing it to shut Charlie Kirk up? Because he was starting to speak out again about the Epstein files. The temperance came out upside down. Yeah, he wanted to balance things out for his leader. He was going to, you know, if this Epstein thing, if you don't, you know, if Charlie Kirk doesn't shut up about the Epstein thing, I'm going to shut him up. I'll balance the situation. Yeah, the heartbreak, the betrayal. Yeah, he felt betrayed and was going to do something about it. You know, he could have been a follower of Charlie Kirk's and decided, I don't like where you're going with this. You know, you were always for Donald Trump, and now you're going against him. Yeah, this was a big burden he had. Big stress on him. A burden that he wanted to make things right. Let's look at his emotional stability on this guy. So let's look at the suspect. How's his emotions? Is he crazy? Is he, or just really radicalized in some way? The 2 of Swords. So he wanted to put an end to something. He had to make a decision about the Emperor. Two cards came up. The yes card, the 9 of Cups. He decided, yes, he's going to do it. And he knew that possibly he could be caught and even killed. So he was willing to risk it to get a better harvest. Let's just look a little bit more. I'm curious. There, he had a lot of confusion in his mind. He wasn't totally playing with a full deck, this guy. He's very defensive, especially for people he cared about. And again, the Page of Pentacles. He wanted to send a message to the world. Don't keep talking. Yeah. He could have worked for the government as well. He could have been in the military. What else? What else do I want to look at here? I want to see about this 6 of Cups, this wanting to live in the past. What is it about the past that was very triggering for him? Because this was the challenge card. The work he did in the past. The work he did in the past. He was quite successful in the past. He could have been a military person, because this is a knight, like working for the king. He could have been a military person. He felt very trapped inside about what was going on with our country. He wanted to put an end with it. He knew how to do it. He had the weapon. He had the sight. This King of Swords is one with clear, total clarity and sight. And yeah, he was going to do it. He was taking that risk. I also want to look at this. I'm sorry to go on. We're already on 21 minutes. The Five of Pentacles. What about the Five of Pentacles? Did he lose someone or something right now that triggered this? The world. He was looking at the world and seeing the United States going downhill. This is a coordinated effort with the Three of Pentacles. So whatever he did, it was a coordinated effort, and he was paid for it. All right, so I was interrupted. I forgot my train of thought, but basically I think he was paid. He was really disillusioned about what's going on in the world. He was paid off. And it was a plan. There were other people involved with this plan, and he was hired. The money. He wanted to do it. He was willing to do it. He knew the risk, but he wanted to do this thing. Now, this isn't the end of this story. This was just the first reading. It went on very long. I'm going to come back with the next part, which is about Donald Trump. So stay tuned.